Anime, expressive, powerful, and alive. Anime is an inspiration for almost all action mobile gacha games. It expresses the overall structure of the art style. It expresses how the combat and movement is designed. And thanks to Genshin Impact, a new genre of gacha gaming has been realized. The open world action genre Genshin Impact has popularized is a worldly success, not just in the gacha space, but in video games as a whole in general. People that have never touched a gacha game ever in their life have become heavily invested in a game known as Genshin Impact. Due to this, more and more gacha game companies are working hard to join in the action open world gacha category, hopeful to get a piece of that sweet pie Genshin Impact has been able to keep to itself, due to basically being the only game in this money-making genre until now.
What are those Neanderthals up to? Don't they know I'm busy spoiling myself?
You love it, you hate it. Basically, there's no in-between at this point. Wuthering Waves is here. And as you can see here, it's definitely making a name for itself. And I know for a fact this is just gonna strengthen a stereotype that all you need to do is develop an action world gacha game and you'll be swimming in success, because Wuthering Waves did it. They got their names out. Why can't another game following the same trend? Because of the grand reason why Wuthering Waves is in the spotlight. Because it simply offers something Genshin Impact doesn't, that a lot of players want. In order to make an action open world gacha game people will spend their money on, companies need to offer what the competition is lacking. It could be a theme, it could be gameplay mechanics, it could be both. And Wuthering Waves simply does this by having a better anime-like combat experience than Genshin Impact. And I can simply prove this by looking at aerial combat. Actions done in the air are simply easier to make look more dramatic and cinematic. You tell me which is more entertaining to watch, someone destroying somebody in Smash Bros on stage or someone destroying somebody in Smash off stage. I'm pretty sure more people are gonna choose the latter. So let's do a comparison to see why Genshin Impact is lacking in the combat department. Let's see why Wuthering Waves is gaining so much popularity. Let's see why open world gacha game developers working on upcoming titles should not be hung by their CEOs if their game isn't as popular as Wuthering Waves. Because these game developers are not going to make it if they get fired while sleep deprived, just because their game might not be as popular as Wuthering Waves when it comes out on launch. And that's just crazy. Like, are you serious? Alrighty then, let's get this show started. Gliding will not be used because it's only really used as an exploration tool for both games. Starting off with the basics, in Genshin Impact, there is no universal way to move in the air for all obtainable characters, while in Wuthering Waves, every obtainable character is able to air dash by simply pressing the dash key in the air. In Genshin Impact, every character has a basic aerial attack by pressing the attack button while jumping in the air. But elevated height to jump off from is needed to do so. No matter the weapon type, the basic aerial attack style will be a downward plunge attack towards the ground. In Wuthering Waves, every obtainable character also has a basic attack as well. But due to Wuthering Waves characters having a higher jump height, higher elevation is not needed. Also, not every weapon type, not every character have the same universal weapon basic plunge attack. There are basic attack strings that can be done in the air. So far, every gun user can shoot mid-air rapidly in a downward motion. But honestly, there really isn't a set in stone pattern for basic attacks done in the air for old and new obtainable characters. In Wuthering Waves, dynamic basic attack strings done in the air can be used without mechanics like Resonant Skill or Liberation Burst, while in Genshin Impact, it is the complete opposite. The only way to alter the way you navigate attacks for certain characters is if you use elemental skills or elemental bursts. In Wuthering Waves, obtainable characters can swap in the air, and there are two mechanics that are paired with this system. While a character is in the air fighting, you can swap to a different character. Both characters will attack at the same time. Next is intro swap attacks. By attacking, Concreto energy is filled up. When it's full, a character's icon will glow. Switching to them will perform an intro swap attack, while Genshin Impact has nothing. You can't swap in mid-air during combat. There are no swap attacks. There are no intro swap attacks. There is a similar feature in Natlan, but it doesn't really count for 3 reasons. Number 1, you have to be in Natlan and you have to be using characters introduced in Natlan as well in order to swap in mid-air. Number 2, switching to a different character in Natlan doesn't attack anybody. It only alters that character into their different state. Number 3, you can't use any of these features in endgame, where time matters the most. I didn't include echoes, I didn't include the grapple tool. Any character can use anytime, anywhere. Looking at you, Natlan, looking at you. As you can see in this comparison, Wuthering Waves has a lot more combative elements than Genshin Impact. And I'm just talking about aerial combat. I didn't include echoes, I didn't include the grapple, and all of these features can be used for all characters in Wuthering Waves, while only certain characters in Genshin Impact can get off the ground. So what does this actually mean? It means Genshin Impact doesn't have the tools, doesn't have the mechanics, doesn't have the gameplay features to express themselves well in combat overall. Blah 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 blah, bro, I don't care, hurry up. That type of attitude is the reason why you're married to me. A whole computer, bruh. Come on, you got no game, don't talk like you got some. Genshin does have its anime moments. They have their flashy moments. They have their stellar moments. They have their hyper moments. But all of these are directed by art teams, developer teams, and coding teams to make it easy to realize. Genshin Impact simply doesn't show off subtlety in their anime combat. Being able to notice that my Jinshi is doing a backflip after being subbed out while I'm fighting for my life is anime subtlety. The little gestures, the exaggerated motion and movement. They're hard to see, yes, but when you see them, you get all giggly inside. That's why we love anime combat, and Wuthering Waves delivers this 100%. Being able to attack using the swap mechanic feature, not because an icon is flashing in my eyes telling me to do so, no, because it's fun, broken, and it makes it look like a scene straight out of One Punch Man, to me. When looking at a new character coming out for Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves, we look at the same things. What are the best ways to buff the character? How do I use the E skill and burst skill efficiently? What are good team comps for rotations? But only in Wuthering Waves, you can only have a group of people saying, how stylish can I be with this character? Ooh, I see this character jumps in the air. I can't wait to try out a different, combat string, to make it look all fancy and stuff. That's anime subtlety to a T. Only one game here has people able to be hype about styling on opponents. And as I said before in the beginning of the video, anime is expressive, powerful, and alive. And if I had to choose between two of these games' combat gameplay to see which one truly does anime justice, I would have to pick Wuthering Waves. Now, this video wasn't made to say Genshin sucks at everything. I am just saying they're not good at everything. And since Wuthering Waves was able to beat them in one element, they got their chance to shine. A generic open world gacha game won't bring in the same results. Creativity and passion need to be fleshed out. More and more games of this category are coming out in 2025. People won't be able to fully commit to all of these new open world gacha games, because frankly, it's too tedious. Because each game in this category has its own world to explore, combat gameplay to figure out, and gacha, I guess. People are going to stick to one of these gacha games that resonates well with them. So being generic isn't gonna cut it in this market. These games need to find its themes, its own setting, its own gameplay mechanics that differ from the competition to truly be successful. So all I gotta say to you, the viewer, is to get ready for 2025 and beyond, because the open world category is going to go crazy in the gacha space. Anyway, that's all for now. Stay safe and Happy New Year.